Om Namo Narayanaaya. Om Namo Narayanaaya. Om Namo Narayanaaya. Dear devotees of Chicago Kalibari, today we have the continuing lecture on the glory of the great goddess, that one, by Sundaresh Subramaniam and Mrs. Vidya Subramaniam. And with this, let me hand over the mic to Mr. Subramaniam to continue the lecture. Thank you.
Namaskaram to all. Thank you, Sampath, for hosting this show. As usual, we'll start with our Dhyana Slokam and proceed with the session. Om Gajananam Bhutganadi Sevitam Kapita Jambu Palasar Pakshitam Umasutam Shoka Vidasakaranam Navami Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Sankaracharya Madhyamam Asmat Acharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Sri 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 Shantanantavadhuta Gurave Namaha Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om. Welcome to session 3 of the glory of the great goddess Devi. We are happy to continue this series. It's the session 3. And as usual, we will review the past session before launching this session 3. In the last session, we talked about the glory of Goddess Lalita Devi in Lalita Sahasranamam. I explained the source of this stotram and also its contents in brief. I had told the story on Lalita Devi's avataram. How did she emerge from Agni Kundam? And highlighted the beauty of this Sahasranamam. I'd also given you examples of 2 great Devi Upasakas who lived not very long ago, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Sri Bhaskar Raya, who wrote the commentary or bhashyam for Lalita Sahasranamam. So today we are going to be continuing Lalita Sahasranamam, and I'd like to give you some introductory remarks. Our Vedas say Matru Devo Bhava, meaning a mother should be praised as an incarnation of God. If this is the high status of an ordinary mother, a woman who gives birth to a human body and nurtured it, how can we ever even quantify the stature and divinity of the great goddess Mother Devi, who is the divine mother of the entire universe? It is just not possible. Brahmanda Purana, as the name implies, the mighty big Purana has over 12,000 verses that includes Lalita Sahasranamam, considered one of the holiest compilations. It is not possible within our limited knowledge and also limited time to speak about the Sahasranamam in full. Now, the Lalita Sahasranamam appeals to me and my wife personally because of our affiliation with my native village Maharajapuram and adjacent village of Bhaskar Rajapuram, where Bhaskar Raya, the great Devi Upasaka, lived. We have personally participated in the chanting of Lalita Sahasranamam before the Meru Chakra installed in Bhaskar Rajapuram. And Bhaskar Raya wrote the great commentary Saubhagya Bhaskaram. It is one of the best commentaries, the first one. And I have relied heavily on this commentary to speak to you and make this presentation. So our practical experience makes us spread Devi's glory. So in the last session, I mentioned about these two Devi Upasakas, but I think I should also mention about one of the great well-known saints who lived dozens of centuries before, who was also a great devotee of Amba, and he was the great Adi Shankara himself, who authored many stotrams in praise of Amba. He wrote a brilliant piece called Saundarya Lahari, and it composed many other stotrams like Devi Pujangam, Tripura Sundari, Manasa Puja Stotram, Kanakadara Stotram, Annapurna Ashtakam, Amba Ashtakam, and so on. So we'll try to cover some of them in our future sessions. So many of you are already familiar with the chanting of Lalita Sahasranamam. So we are not going to chant the entire thing, but we'll attempt to highlight some of the key features and slokas in Lalita Sahasranamam. So with that introductory remark, let me go to the slokas. What are the key features of these slokas? It is not what they call Bhasha Saundaryam, the phonetic excellence of Sanskrit language. And it is set in the Anushtup Chandas, as they call it. Anushtup Chandas is the meter, which is 32 letters divided into 4 quarters, each of 8 letters. These letters are divided into parts called padas. They are the feet. So Chandas is one among the 6 Vedangas. The number of syllables, or aksharas we call it in the mantra, determines to which Chandas it belongs. It's a kind of a rule. It's set up in a particular fashion. This has got 32 letters divided into 4. The Gayatri has got 24 divided into 3 parts. So there are 7 chandas like this: Gayatri, Ushnik, Anushtup, Brigati, Pankti, Trishtup, Jagati. Those who do Sandhya Vadanam, they know all these. So this is set up in the Anushtup Chandas, just as Vishnu Sahasranamam too. Chando Pado Vedasya, as they call it. Without legs, it cannot stand. Therefore, the mantras need to have the chandas. It has got different types of worship in this. One, what they call Saguna worship. The other one is called Nirguna worship. Saguna means with form, and Nirguna, as the name itself implies, formless. You can have in masculine gender, feminine gender, and formless. So Nirguna is something which is very hard to, it's more of imagination because there's no rupam. And Saguna is with form, which we can imagine. So Lalita Sahasranamam is set in both these forms of Saguna and Nirguna worship. It can be chanted either in stotra form as continuous lines, verses, which is a common form. You'll find most people chant in stotra form, 2 lines each time, said beautifully. Or it can be in a mantra form, each mantra separately, just as you do Archana, you can do it with each name. So you can either use it for Shravana or listening, even if you don't chant, if you listen to the stotra, that itself is effective because it depends on the sound which you hear. The vibrations themselves have impact. And the other, of course, is used in Archana, and which you find in puja rituals. They use it in Archana. So these are some of the key features of Lalita Sahasranamam. Some of the other features I explained in my previous session, that there are no conjunctions like cha, api, it's all without any joints or sandhis. They also have alliteration, which I mentioned last time, but one slokam here I'll demonstrate to you. So those are other features which I explained last time. So this time I want to talk more about the names, including reciting some of the key slokams. It is not just 1,000 names, but it's 1,000 names a lot more. Each mantra is holding some power. So it means you got 1,000 different kinds of powers, but it has to be pronounced rightly. But some places, the names get kind of tortured due to ignorance. So one has to be careful because we get good results as described in the Palasruti of this Sahasranamam by proper pronunciation and devotion. If it is not there, then you don't get the desired result. In fact, it may even give bad results. So that is very important to pronounce the verses correctly. And Bhaskar Raya makes a commentary on the 1,000 names. They are secrets as revealed by Hayagriva to Agastya. Bhaskar Raya himself says there are some technical rules, paribhashas, composed by his gurus that includes Narasimha Bhatta and Gangadhara Vajpayee, who lived across Bhaskarajapuram. So anything secret, if you say, it arouses kind of curiosity amongst people. So these are quite a few secrets. In fact, Agastya was not told that, so he had to ask Hayagriva. He asked Hayagriva, you told me everything about Lalita Upakhyanā, but you didn't tell me Lalita Sahasranamam. Is it something you forgot, or am I not qualified to hear it? And then Hayagriva replies to him, these are all secrets. That's why I didn't tell you until you asked me. Since you have asked me, I'm going to reveal all these secrets. So Lalita Sahasranamam itself is a secret. Amba herself says they are secrets. So Bhaskara, the Saubhagya Bhaskara, there is a detailed commentary on this. What are the secrets? But one or two I can tell you. One secret is all these names you will find, they are either ending in A or E. Check it. Most names you will find feminine names in our culture and tradition. For example, Lalita, Uma, Vijaya, Aparna, Sita, these are all ending in A. Also, those who end in E, Bhavani, Lakshmi, Brahmi, Shanti, Vaishnavi, Kali, Devi, Parvati, all ending in E. So you see there is some common rule there, isn't it? Not many people know this. So in this, you will find many such secrets. And to give you again a summary of these contents here, the introduction part has 51 verses, and the names, the 1,000 names, are contained in 182.5 verses. And the concluding part has got 86.5 verses. thus making it a total of 320 verses. It is stated in Saubhagya Bhaskaram. I didn't do this analysis myself. So there are many such things which you'll come to know as we go along. We would like to now begin this Lalita Sahasranamam. You know, as I mentioned, all these aksharas are very, very, very important. The beginning itself, Saubhagya Bhaskara, it says, the signs showing the potency and virtues of the selected 32 letters I mentioned before, for the beginning, very beginning of the Sahasranama are very good. According to Narasimha Bhatta, the author of Paribhasha, which I mentioned is a rule for these chandas, the compiler of this hymn had great responsibility in selecting the most auspicious letters for the beginning of the 1,000 names in this collection. So let us start with these auspicious, most auspicious letters contained in the first 3 slokams of the beginning of Lalita Sahasranama.
Start from Udyad 1 second.
Anything.
Last time we did Sri Mata, Sri Maharajni, Srimat Simhasaneshwari, Chidagnigonda Sambhuta, Devakari Samudyata. Now, Udyad Bhanu Sahasrabha Chaturbahu Samalvita Hamba Udyad Bhanu Sahasrabha Chaturbahu Samalvita Ambaraga Swarupa Pashadhyaraga Swarupa Pashadhya Krotakarambusoджvala Raga Swarupa Shadhya Krodhakaram Kusojvala Manorupekshu Kodarda Panchatanmatra Sayaka Manorupekshu Kodarda Panchatanmatra Sayaka Nijaruna Prabhapura Majad Brahmanda Mandala Nijaruna Prabhapura Majad Brahmanda Mandala Sri Mata Sri Maharajni Amba Sri Mat Simhasaneshwari Om Ba.
The very first 3 words, Sri Mata, Sri Maharajni, Srimat Simhasaneshwari. All these, the prefix is Sri. What does Sri mean? Sri. We also use the prefix Sri when we call anybody's name, right? Sri is a title, is a honorific word, which really means Mahalakshmi. Lakshmi is called Sri Devi. So here Sri Mata, the Holy Mother. The controller, see, Maharajni is the queen. And Maha itself is great, big, Brahmanda. So here it signifies she is the great queen, the one who created the entire universe, by whose grace creation still goes on. So Sri Mata, Sri Maharajni, mother and great queen. Third one is Srimat Simhasaneshwari. She is the ruler. the empress seated on the lion throne. When you see some of these kings and queens seated, they have a royal throne. So this is Simhasaneshwari. She's the queen of queens. Mother who is the most supreme, merciful donor, holding her darbar and grants whatever is demanded by her devotees. That is the greatness of Amba here, Sri Mata. Chitaknikunda Sambhuta Deva Karya Samujjata. This, I think we explained it in last lesson, how she emerged from the Agnikunda. Here, Chitaknikunda is really the fire of consciousness. Sambhuta, she emerged from that for the purpose of serving the Devas. Deva Karya Samujjata. Udyat Bhanu. In fact, we started the singing Udyat Bhanu, which is really the rising sun. Udyat means rising and Bhanu is refers to sun. Sahasrabha is 1,000 rays. Sahasram itself, Vishnu Sahasranamam, Lalita Sahasranamam, Sahasra means 1,000. Sahasra means, here in this case, 1,000 rays. This indicates she appears like a rising sun. You know, when you see the rising sun, how it is like an orange color. You can say vermilion or saffron color. Something like a hibiscus flower you have. Chadurbahu Samanvita. Bahu is arms, endowed with 4 arms. Ragaswarupya Pashadya. Pasham, you know, it's a very common word. It's desire. So she has got a rope, like a noose, which is personifying desire. The rope. And she is holding that. Pashadya Krodha Karang Sojvala. Krodha means anger. Akara. Akara means knowledge. She's got a Kusojvala, a shining tool. So she has got 4 arms, out of which in 2 arms she's holding. One is the pasham or the rope, and the other one is angusham, Kusojvala. Angusha, I know you might have seen the elephants. They are controlled by a small tool, like a hook. That is called angusham. So she is holding that to control not the elephant, but our anger. The noose and the hook, which they are desire and anger. The noose is really the Icha Shakti, and the hook is the Jnana Shakti. And I'm coming to the next one. Manorupechu Kodanda Panchatan Matra Sayaka. Mano is mind, as you know. Manorupa means the form. Ichu. Ichu is sugar cane. You have seen the sugar cane. She's holding one here. Ichu. Kodanda is the bow. So the mind is taken the form of a sugar cane, which is holding like a bow. Panchatan Matra Sayaka. Pancha means 5. And she's holding the 5 flowers, which indicate the 5 senses and also the 5 elements. Normally, you should have, if it's a bow, it should be made of steel, isn't it? But here it is made of sugar cane, which is actually very brittle. If you bend it, it will break. But she's holding that. Arrows. Arrows should be also sharp. Instead of holding sharp arrows, she's holding 5 flowers as arrows. Isn't it strange? Well, there is a story behind it, and like to tell you this story. Actually, when Manmata was burnt to ashes by Shiva, his wife Rati Devi lamented over the loss to Parvati. And Parvati Devi consoled her and gave her a boon that while others cannot see him, only she can see Kamadeva in the physical form. So at that time, Devi took the sugarcane bow and the arrows, the flower arrows from Kamadeva. She said, I am going to retain it. Since you have no use for them, I will keep it with me. And she thus acquired the sugarcane bow and the 5 flowers. So Devi's mind is so sweet, it has taken the form of a sugarcane. Manorupechu Kodanda. And the arrows or flowers so gentle, they are not intended to hurt anybody physically, but influence the 5 senses in us. So she really blends the sweetness of sugarcane and the softness of flowers in controlling the minds of devotees. Fill the mind with love, like she holds the sugarcane sweet. What about the other 2 hands? She holds a pasam and ankusam. With that, she is able to get rid of anger and also unwanted relationship and draw people to her. Pasanguchanja paradhabayastadarim hidambarim kanakamautika bhushitangim ashodasatra kalabhadvasim ekacharim tribhunadim namami. There is another slogan about Bhuvaneshwari. So we use different concepts in physics like attraction and repulsion. In the same way, here we get tangled by desires and a discriminating attitude to help control the desire and relieve us from the tangled knots which happens in daily life. Devi holds a pasam and ankusam in 2 hands. Here, adutha line, next line. Nijaruna Prabhapura Majjat Brahmanda Mandala. Nija Aruna. Aruna means again the rising sun. Prabhapura. She actually emerges in that bright red color like the rising sun. You can say like pomegranate flower. It makes the entire universe Brahmanda Mandala, fills it up, radiates, the whole skyline appears red. Devi also kind of fills the entire universe with that radiant red color. You know, here there is also an allusion to the geometry, mandala, as it says, of the universe. Brahmanda Mandala. You know, anda in Hindi means egg, right? Brahmanda means big egg. The universe, the whole space, and our ancients knew the geometry of the entire universe as Brahmanda, as a big egg, because the path is elliptical like an egg of the planet. It has the stars, it's the planets, and other forms of matter in the galaxy, and therefore it is called Brahmanda. Here, I would also like to make a reference to Rudram. We say that in the Dhyana Slokam, Apatalanapastalanda Bhuvana Brahmanda Mavispurata. You know, Brahmanda Mavispurata. Even there it is mentioned Brahmandam. So Brahmandam was known thousands and thousands of years back. So here, Brahmanda Mandala is referred to. So in these 3 slokams itself, you find so many secrets coming out. Brahmanda Mandala is revealed to us. The radiance of Ambal is revealed to us. She has 4 arms, each having a specific item or material which has got a specific function too. So here we get an idea of Amba, Devi, Lalita, how she appears. From this verse onwards, the next verse, from the fourth one, the description of her gross form starts. It's actually starting from head to foot. Since she rose up, the description starts first from the head and then to the foot. It is in contrast to many other stotrams where actually the description goes from the feet to the head. This is Keshadi Padam, as they call it, from the hair itself, from the hairdo. Champaka Ashoka Punnaga Sau Kantikala Saskata Kuruvinda Manisreni Kanat Koti Ramantika. The next verse. But we are not going into the detail. I just wanted to give you a highlight of how it begins with those 32 letters, especially chosen in Anushtup Chandas, and to give you the greatness of Ambal as she appears at the very beginning itself. Then it goes on. Going further, let's see. I'd like to cite this Bhakta Anugraham, how she really blesses the people, how to get Devi's blessings in short. It's a quick guide. And here you can see the alliteration coming in beautiful form. Bhavani Bhavana Gamya Bhavaranya Kutarika Bhadra Priya Bhadramurte Bhakta Saubhagya Dhajini Bhakti Priya Bhakti Gamya Bhakti Vishyabhayabha Shambhavi Sharada Radhya Sarvani Sarvadhajini. She's so beautiful. You know, many names in our tradition and culture, they indicate qualities. Bhavani. Bhava refers to Lord Shiva. So Bhavani is his consort. Bhavana Gamya. She is realized through meditation. So Bhavani is the name given to Lalita Devi here. It's also referred in Saundarya Lahari. Bhavani Tum Dase Mai Mitra Drishtim Sakaruna Iti Stotum Vanchan Katayati Bhavani Tvam Iti Jaka Tadaiva Tum Tasmai Jitasinika Sayujya Padami Mukunda Brahmendra Utamakuta Nirajita Pada. Such a beautiful verse. Bhavani Tvam Dase. The moment you say Bhavani, you become, it can, Bhavani Tvam, it's a noun. You acquire the quality of Bhavani Tvam. The moment you say that, Bhavani Tvam Dase. So here, Bhavani is used. So it's a beautiful way of saying Bhavani, the consort of Lord Shiva, Bhavana Gamya. By meditation, she is attainable. Bhavaranya Kutarika. Kutarika means axe, you cut something with axe. What does she do with the axe? She cuts our misery. Bhavaranya Kutarika cuts our misery. Bhadra Priya. Bhadra has got many meanings in Sanskrit. Sanskrit is such a beautiful language. The meaning is applied according to context. So Bhadra means good, gracious, excellent, all this. Here it is, Bhadra Priya means one who loves to do good. She loves it. Bhadra Murti, she personifies goodness herself. Murti is her own personality or rupam. Bhakta Saubhagya Dayini, she confers the Saubhagyam. When we bless people, we say Saubhagya Bhava, Saubhagyavati Bhava. It means luck. Bhagyam itself is luck, fortune, and prosperity. So she confers the Saubhagya on her devotees. Bhakti Priya Bhakti Gamya Bhakti Vasya Bhayabaha. Bhakti itself means devotion, right? And she's very fond of devotion. She blesses all the people who are devoted to her. Bhakti Gamya, she can be realized through devotion. Bhakti Vashya, she can be acquired, won over. Vashya means to draw into one's influence. Bhakti Vashya, you can attract her by devotion. Bhayabaha, she drives away the fear, removes all the fear. Shambhavi, Sharada, Radhya, Sharpani, Sarvadhayini. Shambhavi, Shambhu and Shambhavi. Shambhu is name of Shiva. One who always produces happiness. Sanskrit, you have beautiful word, Samskritam. It means something well done. Shambhu, one who produces happiness continuously, Shambhu. And his consort is Shambhavi, the consort of Shambhu. Sharada Aradhya. She is the one who is adored by Sharada. Who is Sharada? You know, in Sringeri you have Sharada. Sharada is none else but Saraswati herself, the consort of Brahma. She is worshipped by Sharada. Sarvani Sarvadhayini. Sarva, it's also a name of Shiva. So Sarvani, she was consort. Shambhu is also one name. Sharva is also another name. Sarvani Sharmadhayini, one who bestows happiness on all devotees. So you see these just 4 lines. It is called Bhakta Anugraham, and Lalita Devi, by just being devoted to her, she confers all these happiness. It's a very short, quick advice on how to get the blessing from Lalita Devi. It's explained in just 4 lines so beautifully. Let's go further. The power of Devi. Bhaskaraya comments that Devi has countless names, each name referring to a particular quality or attribute. Like you say, Malini. Malini means wearing garlands. It's a quality. Some signify immovable things also. Like Mahi means earth. Also names like Mukunda are different aspects of Devi, such as Rama. Some denote actions performed by her, like killing a demon, fighting with Bandasura, and Devi declared herself endowed with this power and capable of conferring boons. So, by repeating such names, Bhaskaraya says that corresponding results also come. For example, there is a word coming Annada. By repeating the name Sri Annada, those who desire food will get food. For those who desire wealth, they call the name as Vasudha. Annada, Sri Annada, Sri Vasudha. So, in each case, there is an effect coming from the word. Bhayapaha is removing fears. We saw it before. Say Bandha Mochani. Bandha Mochani means really getting relief from Bandham bond. Somebody's in jail. He keeps on saying Bandha Mochani, he'll get relief. So the repetition of these names, it confers boons. That is the power of Devi here. So Bhaskaraya himself raises many questions and answers them also. So Devi says, one should always repeat the 1,000 names to please me, and my grace will be undoubtedly there to get you all desires you want. Devi Mahatmya, you have this, isn't it? Rupam Dehi, Dayam Dehi, Yasho Dehi, Disho Dehi. Give me the beauty. Give me victory. Give me fame. Destroy all my enemies. Devi Mahatmya, you have this request made. So here we have Mahatantra, Mahamantra, Mahayantra, Mahasana, महायागक्रमाराध्या महाभैरव पूजिता महेश्वर महाकल्प महातांडव साक्षिणी महाकामेश महिषी महात्रिपुर सुंदरी Mahatantra. She is the greatest tantra. Mahamantra is greatest mantra, which is Sri Vidya. Mahayantra, she is the biggest yantra. Mahasana, she is seated in the great seat. They are called 36 tattvas. Mahayaga Kramaradhya. Mahayaga, supreme sacrifice. Yaga means sacrifice. Yagyam. Mahabhairava Pujita. She is worshipped by Mahabhairava. Bhairava itself is a form of Shiva. Maheshwara Mahakalpa Mahatandava Sakshini. Maheshwara here itself referring to the Ishwaran, Shiva. Mahakalpa Mahatandava Sakshini. She was the one who witnessed the great Tandava. The cosmic dance of Shiva when the delusion came, and she was a witness to it, Sakshini. Mahakamesha Mahishi Mahatripura Sundari. She is the queen of Kameshwara, Mahakamesha, again Shiva. And Mahatripura Sundari, she acquires the name of Tripura Sundari. This Tantra, Mantra, and Yantra are three aspects. Now, Tantra is a kind of device. I'll first start with Yantra. Yantra means it's a device which will, an object you can say, which will give you a psychological anchor sort of. It gives you a sense of safety and provides protection. Like you have a cell phone, it is an yantram, it's a device, right? It makes you in communication with others. So that is in the mantra, which is really the first word coming in the book here, mantra. Manana trayati iti mantraha, they say. Mantra means one which you repeat in your mind that gives you a protection. Tra. Tra itself is verb for protection. In all the three cases, tra means protection. So by repetition of the names, the mantra gives you protection. Yantra is a device. It's a physical device. It's an object which gives you the confidence to overcome any insecure situation. Tantra is a device or a technique which gives you an assurance or protection. So all three are different. They have a link together, but they all reflect the convergence of, or the concept of convergence of the mind in prayer, the body in action, and the object, a symbol, as the basis of true worship. So the three chakras, which I'm going to talk to you a little later, is the yantra for the worship of Devi, and it carries a whole world of symbolism. It's a secret symbolism reflecting the convergence of vital energy and consciousness. So taking this last line here, Mahakamesha Mahishi Mahatripura Sundari, I think there will be a little song on that one. You can, yeah, sure.
Sri Lalite Shiva Shakti Swarupe. Sri Lalite Shiva Shakti Swarupe. Sri Maha Tripura Sundari Amba. Sri Lalite Shiva Shakti Swarupe. Shri Maha Tripura Sundari Amba. Shri Lalite Shiva Shakti Swarupe. Srinadan Sodhari Raja Rajeshwari. Srinadan Sodhari राजराजेश्वरी श्रीनादन सोदरी राजराजेश्वरी अखिलांडेश्वरी चंद्रमुखी गौरी अखिलांडेश्वरी चंद्रमुखी गौरी श्रीललिते शिव शक्ति स्वरूपे वैष्णवी वाराही चामुंडेश्वरी वैष्णवी वाराही चामुंडेश्वरी वरदे अभय वरदे अम्बा वैष्णवी वाराही चामुंडेश्वरी वरदे अभय वरदे अम्बा शैलेंद्रन पुदल्वी सावित्री मातावे शैलेंद्रन पुदल्वी सावित्री मातावे अन्नपूर्णेश्वरी अर्धनारीश्वरी अन्नपूर्णेश्वरी अर्धनारीश्वरी श्रीललिते शिव शक्ति स्वरूपे श्री महात्रिपुर सुंदरी अम्बा श्रीललिते शिव शक्ति स्वरूपे शक्ति स्वरूपे.
Beautiful composition. Maha Tripura Sundari. You see the last two words in this. Maha Tripura Sundari is known as Maha Tripura Sundari. Identifies with the three cities which were destroyed by Shiva, Tripura, Tripura Hari. It also identifies with three triangles in the Sri Chakra. It also identifies with the body, mind, and spirit. In last session, I explained to you the triad where all these three comes. So Maha Tripura Sundari, Maha Kamesha Mahishi, she is the consort of. They are together, they cannot be parted. Ardhanarishwari, they are united in one form. So she's also known as Shodashi, a 16-lettered Mahamantra, which is the most secret. We are not going to talk about that. It's also named Shodashi. So coming next to the symbolic representation of Devi, which is the Sri Chakra. You must have all heard about it, seen it, worshipped it. It is the top secret. For all Devi worshippers, it is a secret. There are two components here, mantra and yantra. Sri Chakram is called as yantram, Sri Yantram. Now you can see it's got many lines, it has got circles, it's got squares, it's got shapes, all defined with a central dot, which is called the Bindu, which is right at the center. Now this divine design has got immense power as it brings forth the power of each of the devatas or deities in the yantra. It's believed to drive away all the evil powers and attract positive and more divine powers. So in all, you can see so many triangles there. There are 43 of them, 43 triangles formed by 9 triangles intersecting each other. In the center, you find those triangles. And if you include the dot, which is also a geometrical form, you can say it adds up to 44. And the 44 is formed in 6 avaranam. Now, the word avaranam means a cover or a covering. In this context, we need to apply the circle or the prakaram, the path. Supposing 10 people stand in a row in front of a person, he is covered, isn't it? So that is called avaranam, which is a cover. So his bindu is also considered shape, it's also an avaranam. So in reality, the 43 triangles make it to 5 avaranams, including the bindu, it becomes 6 avaranams. But normally we heard Navavarnam. You know, a lot of people sing about Navavarna Kritis. What does Navavarnam say? Now 9 avaranams means. There are 3 more avaranams outside of these 6. So by adding that, you get Nava avaranam. And there are 2, you can see 2 rounds of lotus petal shapes. Covering these becomes 8 avaranam. The outermost avarana is like a compound wall. You can see that. That becomes 1 more, and that makes it totally 9 avaranams, 9 layers of Sri Chakra. And one of the primary modes of Devi worship you have, and each avarana has a deity associated with it. Because this is a top secret Sri Chakra. It has to be worshipped in a proper manner. Each yantra, each circle, each line, each geometry has to be perfect. Even a small mistake, you know, it could lead to problems. Like, for example, if the center triangle faces west instead of east, you know, entire result could be different. So this is a top secret Sri Chakra, which is used as a yantra in worshipping of Devi. So in all these, there's also a slokam Devi Aparada Kshama Stotram, which comes in Devi Mahatmyam, where we apologize, seek Devi's Kshama or pardon for any mistakes we have committed knowingly or unknowingly. It happens. So Devi's mantra is something which is sacred, and it has to be taken very seriously to make sure that we get the desired result. And this is one of the top secrets of mantra. So the Sri Chakra itself is a very, very sacred and a sacred device to get the immense powers, whatever desires we need from Devi. So there is a beautiful song connected with Sri Chakra, believed to be composed by Agastya Maharishi. I don't know the origin, but it's supposed to be composed by Agastya Rishi. That it's a beautiful song about Sri Chakra Raja. I like Sidhya to sing that song.
Sri Chakra Raja Simhasaneshwari Shri Lalita Ambikaye Sri Chakra Raja Simhasaneshwari Shri Lalita Ambikaye Bhuvaneshwari Sri Chakra Raja Simhasaneshwari Shri Lalita Ambikaye Bhuvaneshwari Agama Veda Kalamaya Rupini Agama Veda Kalamaya Rupini Agama Veda
Kalamaya Rupini Akhila Charachara Janani Narayani Akhila Charachara Janani Narayani Nagavenkata Nataraja Madhokari Nagavenkata Nataraja Madhokari Jnana Vidyeshwari Rajarajeshwari Jnana Vidyeshwari Rajarajeshwari Sri Chakra Raja Simhasaneshwari Shri Lalita Ambikaye பலவிதமாய் உன்னை பாடவும் மாடவும் பலவிதமாய் உன்னை பாடவும் மாடவும்
பாடிக்கொண்டாடும் அன்பர் பதமலர் சூடவும் பலவிதமாய் உன்னை பாடவும் ஆடவும் பாடிக்கொண்டாடும் அன்பர் பதமலர் சூடவும் உலகம் முழுதும் எனதமுற காணவும் உலகம் முழுதும் எனதமுற காணவும் ஒரு நிலை தருவாய் காஞ்சி காமேஸ்வரி ஒரு நிலை தருவாய் காஞ்சி காமேஸ்வரி ஸ்ரீ சக்கரராஜ சிம்ஹாசனேஸ்வரி ஸ்ரீ லலிதாம்பிகையே உழன்று தீரில்த உழன்று தீரில்த எல்லை உத்தமனாக்கி வைத்தாய் உழன்று திரிந்த என்னை உத்தமனாக்கி வைத்தாய் உயரிய பெரியோருடல் ஒன்றிட கூட்டி வைத்தாய் உயரிய பெரியோருடல் ஒன்றிட கூட்டி வைத்தாய் நிழலென தொடர்ந்த முன்னோர் கொடுமைகள் நீங்க செய்தாய் நிழலென தொடர்ந்த முன்னோர் கொடுமைகள் நீங்க செய்தாய் நித்திய கல்யாணி பவானி பத்மேஸ்வரி நித்திய கல்யாணி பவானி பத்மேஸ்வரி ஸ்ரீ சக்கரராஜ சிம்ஹாசனேஸ்வரி ஸ்ரீ லலிதாம்பிகையே துன்பப்புடத்திலிட்டு துன்பப்புடத்திலிட்டு தூயவராக்கி வைத்தாய் துன்பப்புடத்திலிட்டு தூயவராக்கி வைத்தாய் தொடர்ந்த முள் மாயம் நீக்கி பிறந்த பையனை தந்தாய் தொடர்ந்த முள் மாயம் நீக்கி பிறந்த பையனை தந்தாய் அல்பை புகட்டி உள்தல் அடலை காண செய்தாய் அல்பை புகட்டி உள்தல் அடலை காண செய்தாய் அல்பை புகட்டி உந்தன் ஆடலை காண செய்தாய் அடைக்கலம் நீயே அம்மா அடைக்கலம் நீயே அம்மா அகிலாண்டேஸ்வரி அடைக்கலம் நீயே அம்மா அகிலாண்டேஸ்வரி ஸ்ரீ சக்கரராஜ சிம்ஹாசனேஸ்வரி ஸ்ரீ லலிதாம்பிகையே 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 புவனேஸ்வரி புவனேஸ்வரி.
Sri Chakraraja. So we come to the concluding part where this is mentioned, Sri Chakraraja Nilaya. The concluding stotrams here says, Sri Chakraraja Nilaya Srimat Tripura Sundari Sri Shiva Shiva Sakyaika Rupini Lalitambika. Sri Chakraraja Nilaya, one who resides in the Sri Chakram. Srimat Tripura Sundari, her name, which has been repeated several times. Sri Shiva Shiva Sakyaika, it is the union with Shiva, one who is united with Shiva always. That is a Rupini. Shiva Shiva Sakyaika Rupini. You can see the picture here where Lord Shiva as Kameshwaran and Kameshwari are sitting together, she's holding the sugar cane in her hand. Amba is called Maragada Shama, so she's kind of green in color, like emerald. So Sri Lalita, Maha Tripura Sundari and Kameshwara are always together. They cannot be separated. That is the conclusion of Lalita Sahasranamam. And this is a very apt song, which is composed both in Sanskrit as well as in Tamil, giving various names: Akhilandeshwari, Bhuvaneshwari, Sri Lalitambika, Tripura Sundari. All these are names of that great Devi, the great goddess Devi. So there is nothing comparable in this world compared to the divine love of the Devi, of the great goddess Devi. Let us pray to her, the Devi, the embodiment of love, for the welfare of the entire world, to get rid of this pandemic, get back to normalcy. Let us pray to her. I would like to conclude with a little picture of Bhaskar Rajapuram, where you see at the center a picture of Sri Bhaskar Raya, the Guru who really wrote the commentary for Lalita Sahasranamam, 17th century. And you see the picture of the Meru on the right side. It is taken, it's in 3 dimensions. It's called Meru Chakra. It's got the same geometrical kind of disposition like I showed you the diagram before, but it is in 3 dimensions. And this is where we recited Lalita Sahasranamam. It's a big hall in which the center portion is occupied by the Meru Chakra.
Bhaskara Rayar Mani Mandapam.
It's a beautiful mandapam you have there, a hall. It's on the banks of Kaveri River. On the left side, you see, I had the honor and blessing at Bhaskar Rajapuram. So that is all the divine blessings from Lalita Devi. And we are indebted to the Guru and also Devi. With that, we conclude session 3. Please stay tuned for the next session. We will be next Saturday at 5 p.m. Chicago Kalibari. With that, I'd like to thank the Chicago Kalibari management and also Mr. Sampath Iyengar for giving us this glorious opportunity of speaking on the greatness of Goddess Devi. Thank you very much. Jai Mata Di.
Jai Mataji, as usual, Mr. Sundaresan Subramaniam and Mrs. Vidya Subramaniam, and with Sundaresan with his language skill and multilingual skill and his knowledge of Sanskrit, he brought in the glory of Devi. Devi is none other than mother, the universal mother, Kali, Adi Sakti, whatever name you call. And also he brought in, the names, the name, each of the name and the things, he said is a mantra. It has got a connotation and denotation, The mind is such a wonderful thing with an association of idea. When you utter a name, it is associated with so many things, mind, the speed of mind, who can know, what direction it travels, what it is, In our Sanatana Dharma convention, in each of the household, when a kid is born, either a male or a female, you always go for a search of a name, like Rama, Arjun, let's say Shiva or Vishnu, Krishna, like that, And if what Subramaniam was saying, if each one is kind of akin to a mantra, you can think about in a daily life with our kid, right from the birth until, they grow up, go to college, job, and then this one, we can see 3 generations, or 4 generations. I have seen some family with 4 generations living in the same household. Think about, how many of the Hindu god and goddesses name they have and how many times they utter, and indirectly or directly how much of mantras they have uttered, There's a beautiful story somewhere in Bhagavatam where, see, a kind of a man, is not of such a desirable character, but he had a son called Narayana. You see, during his, when he was passing away, he called Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. When Yamadharma was approaching, the house, he heard the Narayana name and he ran away, and that guy reached Vaikunta. That is the beauty of our Sanatana Dharma and our rishis. You see, I almost made it so easy for us, to carry on our daily life, even the naming convention, they made it easy for us, And Subramaniam brought in very nicely the glory and the hidden meaning of every one of the name of our universal mother, And tomorrow again, there is a program by Mr. Subramaniam on the essentials of Sanatana Dharma at the same time, Please join us, again tomorrow. Thank you. With that, we end today's program.
Namaste to everybody. Namaste.